Good day, everybody. Matthew from Captive Audience Comics here with a new box, fresh back from CGC, all vintage books this time. These were all fast-tracked books, and they came back incredibly fast, like 2 weeks. Fast track on their site, I think, is showing like 4 or 5 weeks. So that's great news. Although our regular vintage that's been there for 2.5, 3 months, just sitting there, nothing. So, um, definitely something going on, shenanigans going down there in turnaround times. Now, we actually recorded this video previously, but our overhead webcam was inverted and we couldn't get it fixed. But finally figured that out. So we're going to run through again and hopefully make it not as long this time and have an overhead webcam that will work. Now, I don't know. It is doing something weird around the resolution, like sometimes washes out this new webcam we have. I don't know why, but we'll see what we can do. So, Iron Man and Submariner, number 1 in an 8.5. I might make comments on some of these books where I think maybe the grade might be, might be off. Most of these books we've looked at, because we've already ran through this video once. The grades I think are spot on. Mr. Miracle, Volume 1, number 1, and an 8.0. And a lot of these books, or a chunk of these books, are in this sort of like 7 to 8.5, 9 range. And the colors are really nice, and the books aren't going to be super expensive because they're not super high grade. This is a mix of books for us and customer books. So you see your books in here, I will be reaching out to you. So Amazing Spider-Man number 107 in an 8.5. And no slab damage that we saw. No case separation issues, which is great. They finally sorted all that out. We're happy for this one. Our Daredevil number 2 in a 4.5, and the colors on this book are great. It's mostly there's some edge tanning on the back, which really hit the grade, and then there's some color breaks along the spine, but it really looks great in the front. Fantastic Four number 29 in an 8.5. Great cover with the Watcher in the background of United Street. Amazing Spider-Man number 89 in an 8. Classic Doc Ock cover. Really nice. Here. Amazing Spider-Man number 91 in a 7. I think this one has like burnished staples or something. I think was the issue with that one. New Gods, Volume 1, number 1 in a 9.2. We thought this one was going to be a 9.4, but I mean, we're still within one grade. And usually, within one grade almost becomes like dealer's choice of where they thought it would be. Captain America number 113 in an 8. This is the death of Captain America. Although it's weird because it's not noted death of I guess because he didn't really die, but on the cover. But Amazing Spider-Man number 81 in a 9. Origin and first appearance of the kangaroo. Never really caught on the kangaroo. I guess when your superpower is jumping, you're just a stilt man without the stilts. Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1 in a 3.5. This book would have been higher, except you can see it's missing a chunk of the corner. And obviously that played a big damage. This book was filthy on the back when we got it, and you can see now, I mean, it's a little yellowed, but at least it's so much cleaner. This book was fun to clean, simply because a lot of it was just surface grime, with a standard dry cleaning and across. I'm gonna clean that off. Unlike embedded dirt that's driven into the paper fibers, and the only way to fix that is really through full aqueous washes or other treatments. The Witching Hour number 13 in a 4. Now, this book to me looks like it should be higher than a 4. I'm going to have to take a look at the grader's notes and find out if something else is going on. There are some fairly decent sized staple wear and staple pull tears. But this one does look like it should be greater than a 4. So we'll set that one aside and I'll take a look at that one later. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me, guys. Fantastic Four number 72 in a 7. And again, I think this one was fair for a 7. It had a lot of small color breaks all the way along the edges. Sometimes I feel like CGC counts those color breaks as like a one flaw for a bunch of them, but when they start to get a lot of them and they're longer than say like a millimeter, they start to really affect the grade. Avengers number 66 in a 6.5. First appearance Adamantium. And I think that book was it's got like a double color breaking crease at the top. There's probably a tear here where it meets the spine and lots of color breaking creases along the side. Amazing Spider-Man 121, classic, obviously. Death of Gwen Stacy, right? Yeah, Death of Gwen Stacy, and an 8, that classic yellow cover, all the characters. This one has some decently large color breaks or color wear in the yellow at the bottom, which I think is really what hit that grade wise. Amazing Spider-Man 124 in an 8.5. This is the first Man Wolf. J. Jonah Jameson's son, the famous astronaut. It's got a not long, but it's got a corner crease that comes all the way across here, color breaking corner crease and stuff. There's creases on the side too, so 8.5 is appropriate. Amazing Spider-Man number 22 in a 6. And again, they always say 6.0 is the grade with the highest amount of different flaws you can have in one book, but still look like a decent copy. And this book is a good example of that. Got lots of flaws along the spine. You can see it all through here. Got a fairly decent sized color breaking crease across here. Got it's going to be very hard to see. It's got edge wear in the corners. It's got creasing across the back. It's got some yellowing. But even though there's a large number of minor defects, find it still get a 6. Star Trek number 2, Gold Key, 1968. This is the 15-cent price variant. This is a much more rare version of this book. If you get the 15-cent variant of this book, it can be worth quite a lot of money in high grade. And you can see on the back here, Kirk in Spock photo from the steps on the back. And we have from 1949, The Fighting Yank in a 6.0. Again, amazing to think about a book, that's 76 years old in this great a condition. I mean, obviously it has some flaws. Biggest flaw here is there's a tear up in here on the top edge of the spine, a little missing. There's some color breaks around the edges, yellowing, tanning. Pretty heavy, pretty obnoxious, heavy tanning line here at the bottom. But still, a great looking book. Speaking of tanning, we've been for about the past couple months now. 4-color number 386. I think this is the first Scrooge McDuck in comics, or Dell Comics. For the past couple months, we've been running testing on aqueous solutions for deacidification of paper and removing of, or not necessarily removing, but reducing the effect of tanning in the paper. Most tanning is water soluble, so if you can do a full aqueous bath of a cover that has tanning issues, you can lighten a lot of that tanning. I doubt we're going to offer it commercially, simply because of it's time intensive, expensive. We don't have a large setup. We can't do a lot of that like at one time, like a big commercial setup that just does cleaning and pressing. They can have stations permanently set up. They can do a lot of that. We're not really set up for that. We might do it for some of our regulars on depending on the on the special case. But here's an example of how bad, pretty bad stain and staple damage. So this is Detective Comics 259, first appearance of Calendar Man, who I forgot even existed. But you can see how the stain comes all the way across here, came down here, and got into the staple, and has caused serious rust migration in here. There's an argument to be made for just removing that staple, just throwing it away, and grading the book as staple missing, and doing your best to neutralize the oxidation of the staple staining. And you can see how it's really stained all the way down the side here, right? If you really wanted to restore that book so that it wouldn't get any worse, that would be the way to do it. Remove the staple, remove the rust. Actually, if anything, get rid of the paper with the rust, leaf cast in the paper, replace it, get a conserved label. And the problem is that's expensive, very expensive to do, and may not be worth it based on the value of the book if that's what you're looking at. Amazing Spider-Man number 16 and a 4.0. This is a very nice 4.0. It's missing some, it's missing pieces up in this corner. That's a lot of creasing all the way down through here. It's hard to see in the white, but there's creasing all the way through the white. There's staple wear, staple tears, staining, staining in the paper. This is obviously not surface dirt. This embedded staining. So it's still a really nice looking 4, but that's a case where somebody specialized in stain removal maybe you could improve that. But again, what are you going to improve it? Like half a point? Is it worthwhile? Plus, then, I mean, right now the stain removal process, chemical removal, it's going to be a purple label with CGC. It's one of the reasons we don't do stain removal, because purple label. We may offer, like I say, we may offer aqueous bath for tanning reduction, and potentially light treatments for lightening covers without using peroxide. So no peroxide use. But we still have a few more months of testing to run before we would want to think about that. Amazing Spider-Man 37 and a 4.5. Again, you're going to see lots of pieces missing from the corner. Significant amount of color breaks and abrasions all the way around. Decent tanning all the way around the outside. But you can even see how the whites in here aren't really like super bright. But still a very nice looking book. And then the unfortunate one, and we'll have to take a closer look at this one for the client, but Amazing Spider-Man 129, the book everybody wants, in a 7.5, is a decent grade, except apparently it has a small amount of cover touch on the cover. So we will talk to the client and see what they want to do. I think probably a no-brainer to try to find the color touch and remove it. Of course, they don't tell you where the color touch is, so we'll have to do some investigation. It looks like there was some slight staining in this book. It's going to be hard to see on camera. There's a discoloration in the yellows. Yeah, you can't even see it on here. There's a discoloration in the yellows down here. And kind of like a little hoop here. You can see it like here. It looks like there might have been a slight staining down there, which is probably what got it. Yeah, and you can see in the back there's a little bit of staining here and here. That's what got it to the 6.5, or sorry, 7.5, which is probably the accurate grade. Just obviously the color touch is the killer on that. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, that's where we're at right now. That's this selection. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think we still have 6 submissions sitting at CGC. 3 of them have been sitting there for months, I think. And then we have a bunch of moderns that are there that have just been there recently. CGC is funny, just did announce discounts on bulk modern submissions. That's modern submissions of over 50 books. And they said orders received after whatever 4th would qualify for these. But our order was received after June 4th, and it had 75 moderns. And I contacted them. I was like, "Are you guys going to give me a credit or a discount?" "Oh, sorry. Because you started your paperwork before June 4th, we can't do that." Which is bull, because I happen to know they can put credit on a file without management approval, with customer service on the phone. But they were having none of that. They weren't budging on that, even though I just literally sent in 75 books. And they didn't even acknowledge they were received from FedEx till after June 4th. So, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes. They just announced it out of the blue. There was no preamble about that. So, it's really only going to affect large submitters, or people that are, well, it's gonna benefit speculators. Somebody buys 100 copies of Beast Wars and sends them all off for grading. It's just crossing their fingers they can, hit it big on some 9.9s. Then maybe they get lucky. So thanks for listening to me ramble on, and hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you next time.